Thank you for taking the time out to speak with me today about your new film, Sacrifice.
Thank you for asking me. Yeah, great.
So, Barbara, you're no stranger to Lovecraftian horror films.
Mhm.
Um, how does Sacrifice stack up against other films of this type that you've worked on in the past?
Yeah, I mean, it's not Sacrifice isn't based on any Lovecraftian story per se, but it has the feeling and the tone and the atmosphere of Lovecraft. And, Lovecraft wrote about cosmic horror a lot and the feeling that you're not in control of your world and that there are things that are happening around you that are unexplainable and that you don't have any control over. So you're at the mercy of what is going on around you. And I think that, sacrifice is about a cult. Um, and there are certainly some things that happen in the movie that and who we are honoring in the movie and with the sacrifice and what that means that we don't have control over. So I think the movie feels like like a cosmic horror Lovecraftian tale.
Yeah, it does at that. When you read the script for Sacrifice, what was it that drew you in and wanted you to do and what that made you want to do the film?
Well, first, my engagement with the film came from Sean Knopp, who is one of the producers on the movie,
Mhm.
and he and I were actors in a movie called Replace a number of years ago. So I really find that initially and lately in my career, this has happened a lot, that we have a community of filmmakers, and when you work with somebody, sometimes you want to work with them again, or, movies seem to come my way because of people that I know, or people know me through other friends. And so initially, I wanted to read the script because Sean was involved and I love Sean. And and then I read the script and it was about a cult and I happened to be the cult leader. And and it also takes place in Norway. And they wanted me to have a very heavy Norwegian accent. And I thought, well, those are all really fun things to think about and also challenging things to think about. So it was something I hadn't really done before. And The Wicker Man is one of my favorite movies of all time. So there was something about that, felt like this movie was reminiscent of. And um, there's just a lot of little things that I said, yeah, this is a movie I'd like to work on.
Yeah. Well, one of the perks for being in the film was, as you mentioned, you got to shoot in Norway. It's such
Mhm.
a beautiful country. How was it to shoot there for you?
Amazing. That's one of the benefits of working in movies is that sometimes you get to shoot in exotic locations and getting to have the opportunity to go to Norway was something that was very attractive to me. And the setting was just gorgeous. I'd never seen the fjords before. I'd only seen pictures, and there was just, one of the themes of the movie is water. And in Norway, there's water everywhere, and that they really wanted to shoot there. And I think it was hard for them to be able to do that. I mean, it's a lot of filmmakers try to make movies now where you can get a tax credit. It's hard to make movies in LA and the unions and this and that. So the margins are very thin on these independent horror movies. So you want to try to go somewhere where you're going to get the most for your money, but they just felt like they had to shoot this in Norway, and it would made sense for the movie, and it was a beautiful location, and they didn't want to scrimp on that, and so they shot it in Norway, and it was just gorgeous to be there, and you definitely felt like you were in a different place. You were in a magical place with the water and the mountains and the streams coming off the mountains into the water. There was water everywhere. It was just an extraordinary place to be, and I think that adds to the atmosphere of the film.
Yeah, definitely. On screen, it's just beautiful looking. Uh,
Mhm.
being there. And you also mentioned that you got to do an accent in the film, which I
Mhm.
thought was really wonderful. I thought you did such a great job. Did you have to have a dialect coach for
I
that?
did. I did. I hired somebody from, I live near San Francisco, so I hired somebody who was part of a Scandinavian language school who taught Norwegian. And she's from Norway and speaks perfect English. But she came over to my house for about 8 weeks, a couple times a week, and we would work on the dialogue together. And I said, I really have to be more Norwegian than the Norwegians because I want to exemplify the fact that I am really entrenched in this culture that I live in and that I'm a part of. So I have to be very believable as a Norwegian speaker. So, there was even certain words that people speak in the movie, like the word husband. Even some of the Norwegian people would, because they see a lot of English television, some of those words aren't spoken as they were in the old world, but the the way that they used to pronounce husband was husband. So I just said, I'm just going to say husband because that's the way the old timers would say it. And I wanted to be an old timer. And my daughter in the film, Johanna, her character's name is Astrid. And so Astrid, but they pronounce it Ostri, Ostri, with like an R roll of the tongue. And so there was certain words that we wanted to accent that made me more Norwegian than your average Norwegian. And
Okay.
it was real. That was really fun. I enjoyed that, and it was definitely a challenge. But geez, I mean, I get to do so many cool things as an actor to be able to research parts and do accents and learn about the world and learn about Norway and go to Norway. So it's one of the benefits of being an actor is that you really get to submerge yourself into another culture, into another way of thinking from another human being. And it's just I found this role to be really just such a wonderful gift on so many levels, and to work with these two young actors who are really the stars of the movie. I want to keep bringing them up because Sophie Stevens and Ludovic Hughes are just extraordinary. I mean, the movie really hinges on their performances and who they are as actors and their characterizations. And I thought they did a tremendous job. And
Good.
I don't think the movie would be as good as it is without what they brought to it.
Right. They both do
Right?
an excellent job, as do you. The story in Sacrifice it's kind of a slow burn horror.
Mm-hmm.
It's not overly horrific because
Mm-hmm.
your character is like a sheriff or a constable in the town.
Mm-hmm.
Sheriff Renate, is that how you pronounce it?
Renate.
Renate. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, you come off as such a nice person in the film,
Mm-hmm.
but ultimately, you're hiding this dark secret. Can you just touch on briefly about your character in the movie?
Yeah, I think some of the best villains in horror history sort of lull you in with a false sense of safety. And my character is no different. I wanted my prey to feel comfortable, to feel like they were welcomed and wanted. And I wanted to give them a sense of security and and let them know that, you know, that they were welcome and that they were safe in our town, even though they weren't. I mean, I look to all the great characterizations of some of the most horrible, you know, villains of history, for that kind of characterization. And you're right. It's nothing. There's nothing that is, really bloody or, completely, really completely terrifying, but it's a slow burn of, this falling deeper and deeper into this world that there is no escape.
Yeah.
And it definitely has to lull you in. And, one of the subtitles of Sacrifice is dream well. And so there was a sense of dreaming, of falling into this world from which there is no escape. So you can't hit those things over the head. They have to be done gently and delicately.
Exactly. Yes. Well, I really enjoyed the film, Barbara, and I think we're out of time now. I thought you did another wonderful role. Your accent seemed spot on, and I really enjoyed it.
Thanks.
So I wish you guys luck on the film,
Thank you, Michael.
and I'll hopefully talk to you soon.
Okay, great. Nice to see you.
All right. Bye bye.
Take care.
You too.